Could Total War Warhammer have saved Warhammer Fantasy Battle? Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today I want to have a hypothetical discussion. That of, could Total War Warhammer have saved Warhammer Fantasy Battle and stopped the end times? Total War Warhammer was announced to be in development at the end of 2012, and it went through development and eventual release round about the time of the end times actually finishing and the release of Age of Sigmar. For those not aware, the End Times was an expansion to Warhammer Fantasy Battle which eventually saw the world destroyed and made way for Age of Sigmar, which left a really bad taste in the mouth of many players such as myself who actually quit Warhammer for quite some time, to be honest, because, well, I was a fan of the Warhammer Fantasy Battle series. I did not have any interest in Age of Sigmar, to be honest, and it just radically changed the game to the point that it wasn't the world I fell in love with. Well, that world blew up, but you know what I mean. That being said, even with the demise of the Warhammer Fantasy world, this game kind of progressed and was announced to be a 3-part series, which has sold tremendously well. I know that I'm playing it pretty much close to every day, just having fun playing with my Skaven, or pretty much any other faction that tickles my fancy on that day. We know both Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 have been massively successful. Even Games Workshop have pretty much taken advantage of this with announcing Warhammer the Old World, but now I want to look towards Warhammer Fantasy Battle. And the hypothetical being, were Total War Warhammer released during the lifespan of 8th or during the End Times, would that have changed things? Would we still be in Warhammer Fantasy Battle rather than Age of Sigmar? I just want to point out very quickly here that I am not against Age of Sigmar. You know, it's a good system. I've been playing it at some time recently now, and I'm trying to actually implement battle reports into the channel, but it's something that has always made me want to think. So, let's look at it this way. Say it's 2012, the end times are going to start beginning now. Would it be the case that if we saw Total War Warhammer being released at that time instead of 2016, with Games Workshop seeing the massive amount of sales, the recognition worldwide, the awards being won, would this have changed anything? Would the writers be told to kind of change around the storyline that they were doing as we saw the end times progress? Many new lore books were released, which had many new changes to the lore, characters being killed, new ones rising and then being killed straight off the bat, with the eventual destruction of the world. Would that carry on? Would we see Archaon the Ever-Chosen be slain instead, with the hordes of chaos actually being driven back, and maybe see an ushered new age for Warhammer Fantasy Battle where we would move on to maybe 9th edition with new changes and new armies, updated army books, updated models, you know, everything that every other player for Warhammer Fantasy Battle actually wanted, including myself. Now, I've given this a lot of thought, to be honest, more than a few days where I've sat down and I've literally wanted to think, realistically, what would be the actual case? And the answer might actually shock a lot of people, whereas I honestly think it would not change a single thing. Archaon would have eventually led his armies in, the world would have still blown up, Manfred would have done what Manfred does best, and the end times would have been proper ushered. The world would have blown up, and we would make way to the Age of Sigmar. Now, you're probably wondering why this would be the case. Why wouldn't Games Workshop take advantage of the newfound money from the sales of Total War Warhammer? But you see, other than the fact that obviously a lot of these businesses plan these things way ahead in advance, we know that Age of Sigmar was in planning stages way before, it's not only just that. The Games Workshop that we knew of back then and the Games Workshop that we know of now are pretty much two different companies. Naturally, I know that they're not two different companies, but rather they have changed so drastically that they could be considered that. The Games Workshop back in the day was not open to taking customer feedback, listening to the fans, and so on. Yes, I know that sounds a bit mean, but it was pretty much true, whereas now they're more open to listening to people, their wants, their needs, what they hope for the hobby in the future. As much as I would have liked to believe that it would have changed anything, it sadly wouldn't, but even then, we have Age of Sigmar now, which itself is its own good series. It's got new armies, new models, and so on, and we do also have the release of the Old World coming up, which means now we have more games to play. Depending on how the Old World actually is when it is released, we might have the return of Warhammer Fantasy Battle in one way, shape or form, and we may also see the return of other games such as Mordheim and so on, which might be really, really cool, especially for players who want to go back. There's a lot of people who want to play Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and were not able to play, because obviously when Total War Warhammer came out, and they got really invested into the story, the lore and everything, they found Age of Sigmar, and they weren't willing to play that, they wanted to play something else. So instead of us looking towards the past, I think we should move on and be hopeful for the Old World. Games Workshop is listening and we can relax a little bit. We have to hope for the best and keep our voices heard. But whilst we wait, there's still nothing stopping us playing Warhammer Fantasy Battle. As you guys are aware, there's a thriving scene in Gibraltar where I'm from, and there's a thriving scene worldwide. We just keep playing and we don't look towards the hypotheticals anymore. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description below, we have various social media links such as Twitter, Discord, and so on, where you can get in contact with members of the Great Book, chat about lore, the game, and pretty much anything else. Also, in the description below, we have an affiliate link where you can buy Warhammer Fantasy products, 40k products, Age of Sigmar products, and anything hobby related, such as even other games, for a discounted price of 10 to 25% off, which also supports the channel at no extra cost to you. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support really means the world to us. It really does help us out with all the nitty gritty and the background stuff that happens throughout the channel, like cabling and so on. But once again, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.